The question of human ecology must be placed within the wider context of evolution and Big Bang cosmology if it is to have any real traction. We cannot adequately address structural inequalities based on ancient religious ideas that exclude women from full participation in the church, or define the human person as intrinsically evil, or support unlimited population growth. Modern science gives us new insights on the emergence of life, on the role of consciousness in evolution, and the continuation of evolution in an unfinished universe resting on the future. God is not finished with creation. Can we accept that? God is not finished with creation. Creation is still going on. I used a term at the beginning and I said this is the age of conscious evolution. There has been evolution going on for 13.7 billion years. But at this moment in time, it is conscious evolution. Have you noticed what's going on in the scientific world? Have you seen cloning? You heard about that? You've heard about selective breeding. Just look at all the stuff that's going on. They're trying to get robots now to take over, drones that are there. So what is happening? There is a whole way of looking at the world we are creating. We are creating. For the first time we recognize that we are now co-creators with God. What a responsibility, and how can we address that? The question is, what are we creating? Why are we more in love with consumer products than by our poor neighbors? Why do we spend millions of dollars on sports idols and pet food rather than on adequate housing for the poor or ensuring clean water worldwide? Why are car sales rising and Apple Watches appealing? The bottom line is, we do not have a consciousness of interrelatedness. We do not see ourselves related to the poor, and thus we do not feel compelled to limit our consumer patterns to aid the poor or develop alternate economies. If we want a different world, we must become a different church. We are invited to rewrite what we understand by evangelization and the call of the Gospels. No longer are we concerned with the afterlife and trying to get there. Our efforts are about living this life as fully as possible and taking Jesus seriously. Not the Jesus created by religion, but the Jesus as spoken of in the Gospels and early writings. We know that even before the end of the first century of Christianity, much of the Jesus vision had been subverted by those unable to grasp his vision. We, they say, are Easter people. We cannot live Easter without entering into the mystery. It is not something intellectual, something we only know or read about. It is much, much more. And I want to finish with the words of Pope Francis. It's a talk that he gave at the Easter Vigil services this year. To enter into the mystery means the ability to wonder, to contemplate, the ability to listen to the silence and to hear the tiny whisper amid great silence by which God speaks to us. To enter into the mystery demands that we not be afraid of reality, that we not be locked into ourselves, that we not flee from what we fail to understand, that we not close our eyes to problems or deny them, that we not dismiss our questions. To enter into the mystery means going beyond our own comfort zone, beyond the laziness and indifference which hold us back, and going out in search of truth, going out in search of truth, beauty, and love. It is seeking a deeper meaning, an answer, and not an easy one, to the questions which challenge our faith, our fidelity, and our very existence. To enter into the mystery, we need humility. To come down from the pedestal of our I, our ego, which is so proud of our presumption. The humility not to take ourselves so seriously, recognizing who we really are, creatures with strengths and weaknesses, sinners in need of forgiveness. To enter into the mystery, we need the lowliness that is powerlessness, the renunciation of our idols. In a word, we need to adore. Without adoration, we cannot enter into the mystery. A week ago, I was in the middle of a forest in India, North India. I was in a Benedictine monastery, enclosed sisters. Wasn't working with them, I was working with another group. And at night, I went out and I walked into the forest, into this. And part of me was saying, don't be stupid now, you don't know what's over there. And the other part of me is saying, I'm one with all of this, I don't have to be afraid. And I went in over there into it when I couldn't see any further, it was pitch dark. And I stood there, and next thing I became aware of the sounds of the forest. It was deafening. The crickets and the chirping and the insects, it was deafening. And it seemed the more I stood in silence and closed my eyes and threw my hands open, I began to sense the whole thing coming around me, closing in on me. And the thing that struck me then was, we are one. I felt that affinity with all that was around. I know what the mystics felt. I know what they said when they spoke about the oneness that grabs everything. And I know the journey that I'm supposed to be on, to recognize this oneness and to love all these creatures into oneness. Conscious evolution demands of me that I make those choices where every species recognizes its value and its worth. I believe that this is part of what Jesus was trying to speak to us about. You see, the kingdom that he spoke about wasn't a place or a type of society. It was a way of seeing the world. It was a new consciousness. I end with a prayer song from Ghana. Journeying God. I love the thing, journeying God, because the whole universe is journeying. It's expanding and moving. We are moving. Journeying God, pitch your tent with mine, so that I may not become deterred by hardship, strangeness, doubt. Show me the movement I must make towards a wealth not dependent on possessions, towards a wisdom not based on books, towards a strength not bolstered by might, towards a God not confined to heaven. Help me to find myself as I walk in others' shoes.